Hello. If you have one of these types of humidifiers hooked up to your hot air furnace, this one happens to be Train. April Air is another one. This is actually rebranded, and Scuttle is another brand. Anyway, these types of humidifiers waste water. Most of the water goes right down the drain. Any water that's pumped in the top that does not get evaporated going down through the mesh goes right out down the drain. So I've devised a system to recirculate the water in order to eliminate water waste and cut down on my water bill. Plus, it was a lot of fun. This project is for the type of guy who's handy. We're not giving every detail here, but you'll get the idea. First, I'm going to show you my block diagram. Hopefully, you'll be able to pause the video in order to look at the details. There's the whole thing. But what is involved is a water tank, a standard condensation pump. That's what they're normally called, to repump the water back up into the tank, and then a control system to operate the pump, which pumps the water out through a flow adjustment valve into the humidifier. Anyway, that's basically it. I'll pause it here just briefly, just go down here slowly, so that if you want to pause your video, you can see the details. And I'll back it up so you can see the whole thing. Okay, so now let's look at the real hardware. Climb up my chair. And the chair. Okay, here's the pump. Here is the water tank, rather. It has 5 water hookups to it, and it has 1 electrical hookup. The 5 water hookups are the water input, and here's the valve to control it, which goes right directly into a standard toilet valve with a float on it, which keeps the level at exactly where you want to have it. It replenishes the water when it gets used up. It has a drain. It's closed right now. You want to be able to drain the tank every month or so to clean it, because it gets pretty scummy. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate that right now. Just drain the tank out. You can see it going down. We'll let that drain. Third water hookup is the actual pump output, which goes through a flow valve into the top of the humidifier. And we have a safety overflow here. That's in case the float valve fails and water just continues to rise, and that way it will go safely into the drain. And lastly, the return from the condensate pump, which comes over here. You can see it. That pump, the water comes out of there and comes back into the tank. Alright, water that's pumped into the humidifier and is not used comes down into a commercially available condensate pump. There's a whole bunch of them available in the market. This one here was about 45 bucks. It has a built-in safety switch, which I like. So if this ever fails and the water goes up to a certain level, it opens up and kills the circuit for the 24 volt AC signal, which turns the water on. Okay, this is the original solenoid valve for the humidifier, which we're no longer using. Instead, I'm tapping the 24 volt AC signal from the humidistat off. It does not go to here anymore, but rather it goes up the wire. And around to my electrical box. This is a 24 volt AC here, 110 volt AC going in. And inside here is a relay, which I showed on the block diagram. It has a 24 volt AC coil on it, and when the signal from the humidifier says we need to do some humidification, it supplies 110 volts AC here. I just made it so it's convenient to unplug it and plug it back in. There's also a bypass switch. Bypasses a relay, so I can use for testing purposes. One thing I forgot to show you here is the actual pump. See that blue thing in there? That's a 53 gallon per hour pump. It's made by Jajali or Yahali. Sorry about my Spanish. Jajale, model GB300. Okay, so let's go ahead and fill up the tank. Turn it on this. Oh, let's close the drain valve first. Okay, we'll fill up the tank. It goes up to the prescribed level. And now we're going to turn on the pump. Start pumping water in. The humidifier, you can see the bubbles go in there. Well, maybe you didn't see it. Anyway, so it's pumping water into the humidifier now, and it's coming out the bottom. And I've already partially filled the condensate pump, so that hopefully there won't be too long a wait, and we'll get to see the water come out of that pipe there, or tubing right there. And this will just sit and work for you forever. Just drain it out once a month. Make sure it doesn't get too scummy, because if it gets too scummy, it could clog up your water pump, and you don't want that to happen. Alright, we'll watch, well, it's like watching paint dry, but we're waiting for the water to come out there. And we'll see it pump up, and it's going to go up about 1 3/4 inches in this particular tank. By the way, this I just happen to be lucky and have this. This is actually the water cassette for the water jar for a Lasco brand model 1180 humidifier, which you may be able to get, used on eBay or something. I don't think they're no longer available. Anyway, here it is pumping up. It's coming out of that pipe from the condensate pump, and the cycle is completed. So enjoy the project. I had a fun time with this one. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and hopefully I'll see them.